Happens every year. Is it really that much of a classic moment?
I was going to say they're shooting the lights out, but I think we said that one other year.
Yep.
If you get a newbie on the light system here, you know, you could have problems, and that appears to be what's happened this evening. Like James said, the council has had a bit of a shift around in how they operate their venues in Christchurch. So the new person in charge of the lights maybe didn't get the memo that you can't
turn off those ones.
The big ones off and turn them on again straight away. But both teams back on court now. They're able to see what they're doing and warm up.
So we still have only, clock still is stuck on 3 minutes at the moment though, so both teams will have, once the referees have said that the lights have got up to the full level that they need, then they'll have 3 minutes after that to continue warming up.
So this is the Sal's NBL. Great place to get pizza if you're a bit hungry. I'm a bit hungry, actually.
Yes. Oh, I certainly wouldn't mind one being delivered now. We're going to be here a little bit longer than planned, about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes overtime.
We'll have a conversation with the three refs and see if they can let this one roll a little.
We can see still the lights on the left side of the court, just right side's probably okay, which you can see on the video here, but the left side's considerably darker at the moment.
Matchups, I'm really looking forward to seeing who picks up Weeks. I think Xavier Thames might have that assignment first up, unless it's Tony Talavai. And then the matchup for Winston Shepherd. It'll be interesting to see who he winds up, or who winds up guarding him.
Yeah, well, they're planning to start both Connor Morgan and Alex Pledger, so not sure. They neither look particularly spry of foot, so and maybe just whoever's closest picks them up at the start, and then they switch as needed throughout the game. So in your time in the NBL, Terry, you must have had some warm-ups that hadn't gone to plan. So how did it affect you, positively or negatively? Or
well, it can do. It obviously can go either way. If you're really primed to come out and get ready to start and you know, have a great warm-up, and then all of a sudden the lights go out, and you've got to sit around for 10 minutes, then you know some of that focus can disappear, particularly for younger players. So I would think in this scenario it would probably affect the Rams players more than it would likely affect the more experienced players of the Sharks. You know, I saw while the lights were out, what we could see on the far side of the court, Alex Pledger just took a seat and looked fairly relaxed, you know, so something like that's really not going to bother the more experienced players. They will have, you know, been involved in situations where, you know, maybe the floor was sweaty in some countries and they've had to have some work done on it, or even the lighting, or, you know, fire drill, who knows, you know, sometimes you've, well, we've had that one of those here, haven't we, had to leave the stadium briefly. So it's a matter of refocusing them. The more professional the player, the easier it is for them to refocus, obviously. So the coaches will have to do a little bit of work. You know, we could see at the start of this game that, you know, the Rams don't come out with the intensity that they need.
Yeah. Certainly something to keep an eye on, and yeah, I feel it's never going to be a positive to have your routine thrown off, but it may affect the other team more than your team. So
the most interesting one I had, we took the team to Argentina, as you know, to the Patagonia Cup, and then halfway through the game, a monsoon-type rain, the roof leaked, and the game had to be, well, it was towels first of all for one quarter. By the time we got to the second quarter, the towels weren't doing the job. And the referees decided to call the game off. And the coach of the opposition was from one of the local clubs in Bahia Blanca, and he said, oh, well, we'll just put you in our cars and take you over to our stadium. It's nice and dry. So they did that. We played the second half in a second stadium.
Well, you'd like to say that only happens in other countries, but I would probably do the same thing. It's not as easy in New Zealand. People don't tend to own their own gyms as a club where you can just say, hey, come use our gym now then. But maybe high schools, that sort of thing might happen as well. So Bahia Blanca, who's the most famous player to come out of there, Terry?
That'd be Manu Ginobili. Yes. Yeah, he's a local from Bahia Blanca, and the team we took over there, we wound up staying in his hotel. And his brother, Sebastian Ginobili, he coaches the local team over there. Good league. Actually, a really hotbed for basketball, Bahia Blanca in Argentina.
No, it's pretty, I mean, it's what's so fantastic about basketball. Soccer probably to similar sort of degree, well, same sort of thing. Like you can go anywhere in the world legitimately and play. So if you're good enough.
So we've still got 3 minutes on the clocks. The refs are giving the score bench the nod, I think. The Lux is up to a level where we might be able to start that clock and get it counting down.
I think, oh, they're waiting for one more light maybe.
Yeah, there's one just under the basket, or just above the basket at the southern end of the stadium. Hasn't quite kicked in yet. So yeah, you've got a brighter future down the northern end.
Yes. I think the starting lineup, Canterbury Rams team looks to be what they've had. They're only one game so far. Here we go, the clock has just started, so now we have 3 minutes to go. Whereas the Sharks, obviously, this is Morgan's first game and he's in the starting lineup, so interesting to see how that goes.
Well, he was probably ready to play about 10 minutes ago.
Yes, yeah.
So who knows? It may affect him, it may not. He looks pretty calm and cool and collected. Very young team this year for the Rams, so Mark Dickel sort of doesn't really know who he'll finish the season with, I guess. At the moment, he's got an idea on who he wants to play, but plenty of opportunity for the young players, particularly someone like Max de Geest, to maybe step up and get some serious minutes. Josh Aitchison, we only saw him briefly in the first game, but he played pretty well. Nathan Campbell was quite good last week as well. Came in, did a solid job.
Yeah, no, I think he knew that he was overmatched from a quickness standpoint, so certainly had to be as physical as he possibly could, and certainly held his own against Anamata Haku.
We haven't talked a whole lot about Ruben Tarangi, but obviously he's going to be a handful. Yeah, matchup-wise for the Rams, because they do have a lot of medium-sized players, but Tarangi obviously can handle the ball, he can shoot the three, and he can attack the basket.
No, he's really worked on that. He wasn't shooting particularly well from the perimeter a couple of years ago, but then I think he's worked pretty hard at it and obviously been rewarded with another Australian NBL contract again from next season on.
Coach Judd Flavel giving some final instructions. 1 minute to tip off here. Cowell Stadium in Christchurch. Wheeler Motor Company Rams up against the SIT Zero Fees Sharks.
So they're just announcing the starting fives at the moment over the stadium loudspeaker. And the Rams having their final reiteration of what things they need to work on. Probably a lot of it, the box out, do not let them get second chance offensive rebounds. Don't let them get transition wide open layups.
The problem, I guess, is the Sharks can cover all bases, really, because if you do want to push the tempo, I'm sure Jared Weeks and Daron Rakawa will be pretty happy to join you.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's kind of pick your poison a little bit with the depth that the Sharks have. So they would come in as the favourite, certainly.
Number 12, local Christchurch bred, Max Darling.
Maybe some people from Nelson who would take umbrage at that. Local Christchurch bred Max Darling.
Tony Tolliver.
So same starting lineup for the Canterbury Rams. So number 1, Winston Shepherd III. Number 2, Xavier Thames. 4, Julian Washburn. Number 12, Maxwell Darling. And then number 25, the captain, Tony Tolliver.
And for the Sharks, Ruben Tarangi is the captain. Jared Weeks will start at point guard. Orlando Coleman will start at shooting guard. Connor Morgan, the Canadian import, and big Alex Pledger That'll round out their starting 5. So a lot of international pedigree in the Sharks lineup.
Yeah, it's quite nice that you can bring Luke Eston, Jerome Rokawa, and James Hunter all off the bench, as well as Tom Vodonovich. It's a pretty solid 4-man group you've got there. So referees from the far side to the closest, Gavin Zimmerman. Matt Bathurst will be throwing up the jump ball. And then also got to mention happy birthday, Marty Davison. I don't actually know how old he is now, but today is definitely his birthday, May the 4th. So quite happy for that. I hope he is a big Star Wars fan, because I bet he gets an awful lot of birthday cards and well wishes that have some play on words regarding that.
So the tip comes to the Sharks. Weeks finds Morgan, and it's back to Weeks, and now Coleman touches in between. Turn and shoot here from Morgan, wide open, nice little mid-range jumper, silky touch from the big man. Winston Shepherd having to help out to bring the ball up. Not sure if that's by design or...
No, I don't think it was, because he gave it up as soon as he could. He's definitely likes doing it in transition, but maybe not.
Shepherd kick out pass. Talavai put it on the floor, and then he found Shepherd underneath. Shepherd found Darling, and he drops it over the rim for an easy 2. So Weeks pushing the tempo, penetrates. Back to Pledger, high post area. We know he likes to take that shot.
Well, I think you're probably pretty happy with that. You know, Max Darling's on him. If he takes that mid-range jump shot there, he's not likely to go and crash hard in on the offensive board. So probably a win there for the Canterbury Rams. And Washburn, nice stop-and-go move there. Goes to the left and then finishes back with his inside hand.
Yeah, Jared Weeks is no slug defensively either. So that was a nice little hesitation move. And Washburn comes up with a steal. It looks like he's wanting to have a better game than he had last week.
Yeah, they hit Darling on Pledger. Pledger went to the low post, and a double was sent immediately that time. Not the best pass out of it from Pledger, and that's what Washburn was able to pick off.
Great back cut here, and Thames finds Shepherd. Coleman turned the wrong way, gave up the dunk.
Well, I think that's probably they had a lot of problem with the Rangers last week, switching those screens there and not getting anything out of it. Sharks obviously looked to try and do that and had a bit of communication breakdown, and great read by the Rams here to cut back door on the screen action.
Well, Darling did a reasonable job of boxing out, and Washburn up and under. Nice little play from Julian Washburn. He certainly started with a purpose. Tarangi looks inside to Pledger, spin move to the baseline. Kick out pass to Morgan. That'll go for 3, left it long. Washburn again, tempo is up for the Rams, what we thought was going to happen, and Talavai got a nice ditch from Shepherd. He couldn't finish, Pledger interrupted the whole thing.
I think you've got to be pretty happy at the moment if you're the Rams. The speed of the game's exactly where you want it. They've made life hard for Pledger inside. It's his first sort of impact he's had on the offensive end, positive impact he's had on the offensive end, and they've been able to get to the rim down the other end.
There's a little gap, a little seam at the moment that Southland have found to get to the basket. They haven't been able to finish it yet, but Pledger turned out to the rebound there, and he'll go to the line.
Well, there was no rim on that shot.
So obviously the mental focus was right there for the Rams. Certainly the lights out situation didn't harm them at all. Pledger gets both, cuts the lead to 4.
Just showing a little bit of a trap there against Shepherd.
That'd be tough to do because he's got some decent height and he just passed straight over that. Thames back to Shepherd, back to Thames, wide open on the perimeter. Left that one a little flat again. Morgan handling the ball. Penetration from Morgan's kick out pass to Tarangi, wide open for 3. Knocks it down, Ruben Tarangi.
So this pressure that they're showing is probably just to slow the game down. Sharks force the Rams into a half-court set rather than give them opportunities to get into their transition sort of sets.
Talavai on a kick out from Shepherd. That one was long.
Not great spacing either. He had Washburn about half a metre to his right as well.
Tarangi shaped up, has found Coleman. They're definitely looking to go inside against Darling. The ball comes to Thames, who strips it. Long pass on the break. Shepherd got Tarangi. Tarangi put 2 hands on him, so he'll be at the line.
So Darling's doing a pretty good job battling with Pledger, and then at the moment his teammates are doing a fantastic job recognising I need to go and double right now because Pledger's so deep. Or if he's able to hold on to him one-on-one, they haven't gone. And then at the moment, I think it's been 2 or 3 turnovers or bad passes from Pledger out of it. So
yeah, Darling has the bulk to be able to just get under the ribs of Pledger and then just kind of walk him off the desired spot that he'd like to be on. So he's done a really good job for the young player to be able to do that to an experienced player. Turnover this time. Weeks off to the races. He's going to find Morgan. Morgan looked to throw it down, but he changed it halfway through, caught the foul and finished. Very nice player, isn't he?
he is. So foul goes on number 4 there, so Washburn's first foul of the game. And yeah, he's certainly trying to make up for lost time. That first game where he got sent off pretty much straight away, making his impact felt here.
So far he's showed us he can handle the ball, he can shoot from the perimeter, and he can attack the basket off the dribble. But he can't shoot the foul shot. Weeks loads up a 3, left it on the front of the rim. Darling had a piece of it, but Coleman went above him.
You don't often see Max Darling get out jumped that easily, and Coleman has some huge hops, and someone said he may be even a better athlete than Torrey Craig, who was pretty impressive when he played for the Sharks, and then obviously the Australian NBL are now over with the Denver Nuggets. So if Coleman's anywhere close to comparable to Torrey Craig, we're in for a treat to watch him this year.
Interesting, the Rams. Shepherd likes to hang around the top of the keyhole, sort of in that trail capacity. So if it doesn't work out on the wing, they throw it back to him. And because he has the ability to get to the basket, those long arms that he's got, he's causing a lot of trouble straight down the pipe. Ties the ball game up.
Oh, I get the feeling this group for the Rams may see quite a bit of time this game as well. Yeah. The 3 imports all had around 30-something minutes last game, but I think Mark Dickel and his coaching staff will have to think pretty carefully about who they can put on and who they can match up.
Weeks up against Talavai. Uses his quickness, gets by him. Easy layup for Jared Weeks. The pace of this game is right where both teams want it by the look of it. Thames forcing the issue. Found some contact but couldn't finish. Weeks again to the basket, uses his speed and draws a foul. You really have to pick up Jared Weeks early and get him off that straight line.
Yep.
He has such speed, change of pace. Substitutions coming in,
James Hunter,
sorry, and Luke Aston.
And then Taylor Britt, first one into the game, and Nathan Campbell for the Canterbury Rams. So 3 imports are staying out there. With Tolivai, 2 fouls, he's headed to the bench. And Max Darling. So we'll have to look who gets Pledger's out.
So I think every time Pledger's in, Darling will be in.
Yeah.
So because they just don't have anyone with the bulk, unless Shepherd's going to pick him up.
Yeah,
Thames managed to save it to Washburn.
Not the best pass from Shepherd that time.
Shepherd looking to go down into the post. Had Morgan on and pops back out again. Shot clock at 6. Shepherd, penetration. Found a little bit of contact against Morgan. Couldn't finish. Britt, hands full, trying to guard Weeks. Managed to get him onto his left hand, which seems to be slightly slower than his right hand.
I think it's also the angle, if you can get him off that straight line that he had.
Hunter reverse layup, didn't get it, but Coleman with the putback.
Yeah, I was just going to say this might be close to time for a timeout, and Mark Dickel already had it in. 17-9 after a nice run there for the Southland Sharks.
So a great start from the Rams, and then the Sharks have warmed to the task and started to show their class. The biggest problem at the moment for Mark Dickel is that they're giving up layups around the basket.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were up 6 points and now they're down 8, so it has been 14 straight that the Sharks have scored.
Yeah, once Weeks gets his hands on the ball, you know, he's got license to thrill and he's got the pace to do so. So you really have to try and get him, as I was saying, off the direct line to the basket and see if you can get a little bit of help behind, and then maybe you won't get that that change of pace thrown at you. But the follow at the moment from the other players is what's hurting the Rams. The boxing out is an issue.
Yes, yeah, no, we knew it would have to be one of the major points of emphasis here to keep this team off the boards. And yeah, it's one thing to say that you have to do it. It's another thing to actually go ahead and do it every time, and all 5 of you guys do their job.
So they do have very across-the-board consistent scoring, the Sharks, and they're showing that already. Jared Weeks got 4 points. Orlando Coleman's got 4. Connor Morgan's got 4.
And
Stolen.
this is not what you wanted. Have a timeout. And
Opportunity to see the hops of Coleman. And he just managed to almost wedge it. Thames working off the ball screen. Penetration, spin move from Thames, goes over top of Rakawa, who doesn't quite have the size to match him. Good pressure here.
Is in, and
Taylor Britt will be called for the foul, but there was a lot of pressure on here. They were struggling to get it in, the Sharks.
they were. The foul wasn't called. That was actually out of bounds off Rakawa's arm or his shoulder there. So Vodonovic can't move this time now that it's actually been a foul instead of a basket. Gets it in a lot easier that time.
So Britt, nice help came here from Campbell, and Rakawa goes through a gap, gets fouled. Are they going to count that one? No, they're not on the floor.
So Britt's now picked up 2 fouls. So coming in, Max de Geest. So a little bit younger than Taylor Britt. Very, very good shooter, and has made his first 3 last week. Actually, he's not going in for Britt, he's going in for Thames. But the shot did bounce straight off the rim all the way up and then fell down in.
Rakawa starting to build a nice career with experience now as well. Some tall black action.
Now, I remember when he was at Rosmini, playing, I think, in the 3-on-3 for the New Zealand team, and then, came back that morning all the way from Spain, I think. Played in a game, and you could see the class easily.
So half-court trap here coming from the Sharks, or maybe it's just a show trap to slow things down. Straight into their zone. Looks like a 1-3-1 zone. Thames penetrates, finds the shooter in the corner who couldn't get the shot off. Inside here to Shepherd. Shepherd got bumped, couldn't finish around the rim. Vodonovic finds Rakawa. Inside here to Hunter. Easy 2 for Hunter. Nice rim run. James Hunter. 21 plays 11.
Yeah, I just think they probably looked at the game. Judd Flavel looked at the game last week, decided that the Rams a little bit unsure of what they want to do all the time. So just throwing these different defensive looks certainly takes time out and makes the team a little bit hesitant about what they're trying to do.
Doesn't help them get some flow, especially a new team like this Rams one with no one really from the previous season. Thames broke up that little pass inside to Hunter. Substitutions into the game. We've seen Darling come back in, and our first look at Troy Tamara tonight. Washburn goes out, as does Nathan Campbell.
This is quite a big lineup here with Shepherd, Tamara and Max Darling all in at the same time.
Leave the shooter open, Luke Aston, but he can't find it. Tyrone Rakawa has Thames on him, 10 on the shot clock. Long range here from Luke Aston. We know he can heat up in this building. He's done it many times before.
And he's put on a little bit more weight this year than last year, so able to bang a little bit more when he's bodying up against people on defense and still keep his shooting touch intact.
Penetration came from de Geest. He found Darling, who found Thames. Thames loads up a 3. This one back of the rim.
And Hunter did all his work early there against Tamara, so rebound just dropped right into his lap.
Aston, almost another open look to score, but he missed it. quick pass ahead here from Shepherd, but Darling was a little wider than that. Sub coming in. Winston Shepherd will go out. Julian Washburn will come back in. Had a nice start to the game, Washburn.
I'll just bring that up as well for you, Terry.
Washburn managed to cut off Vodonovic, who used the ball as an offensive weapon. Wasn't much of a lightsaber, James, but he certainly was using it as a weapon. Still pressure coming here.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the Sharks are a lot further ahead in terms of what things they want to try and do in their offensive and defensive game plan than the Rams, but talent can overcome all of those things if you get it playing right together.
Thames found De Geest in the corner, who had his first look of the evening and couldn't get it to go. The foul will come down on the rebound from Washburn. I think it went on Luke Aston.
There's a good battle inside there by Tamara to keep that ball alive.
Yeah, Washburn had 4 quick points early on, then went to the bench. See if he can carry on his scoring. Thames looks inside. Tamara didn't want to shoot that. He found Darling, who was out of bounds in the corner. Tamara really needs to face up, have a look at the basket, and just at least get the defense to start thinking about where the ball might be going next. He was just looking straight at the corner and threw it there.
You just that one dribble inside sort of thing can help suck the defense in, so they can't just immediately fan out. Another good double there. It's not just Alec Pledger getting the double team treatment inside.
Thames switches hands, and Vodonovic will foul him. He'll be going to the line. Sub coming in, Connor Morgan will come in for the Sharks after a pretty nice start to his NZNBL career.
Yeah, you don't often see a Canadian import, do you? So shows how valuable like playing in the Commonwealth Games was for him. He got a job out of it.
Thames can't get this one to go. Just needs to find his rhythm. We know he's a really good shooter. Second one, straight in, nothing but net. Rakawa quite happy to give it up to Morgan. Morgan gives it back to Rakawa, but that's not the play apparently.
Well, that's got to be heartening for the Rams there. One of the little bits of sort of show pressure, and they ended up getting a turnover out of it. So 10 points here. If they can close this down to single figures, they'll probably feel a little bit better about where they could have been.
Slip screen came from Tamara. Thames didn't get it to him. Washburn on the penetration. Kick out here to Thames. This time to De Geest in the corner. And this time he loads up the 3 and hits it. Young Max De Geest. That's what he's in for. Stand in the corner and drill it when you're open. Rakawa on his way to the basket. Tamara bumped him. Gavin Zimmerman says that was on the floor, but it is 5 team fouls, so it won't make any difference.
It was the double foul after that as well. Heard the whistle, and then both Tamara and Max Darling went up there to make sure there was no chance that shot had to go in and get a 3-point opportunity.
So probably 2 possessions left in the first quarter here in the Sal's NBL at Cal Stadium. Rams made a couple of inroads here into the 10-point lead, but Rakawa's starting to push it back out again.
Yeah, we've actually got live betting on the TAB tonight, and the odds have dropped quite a bit, so it's $1.14 for the Sharks now after the early 9-point lead for them. Well, if you put money on the Rams and they come back, $4.80 to 1.
De Geest loads up a second 3 from the other corner. Rebound comes down. They'll play for the last shot here. There's about 7 seconds on the game clock. Thames working against Tarangi. Pull-up jumper from Thames. Left it long. Washburn couldn't get the rebound. Tarangi was far too late with that one. So at the end of the first quarter, Southland Sharks 26. Wheeler Company Rams 17.
So pretty much what we expected from the two teams, or not as much pleasure for Southland?
I think once Southland withstood that initial tempo challenge from the Rams and got the game to the pace that they wanted, then everything started to turn around immediately.
Yes.
And initially the Rams, I think they probably look like they do need to play a little faster than they are. They seem to be walking it up far too much, and certainly the Sharks putting that half-court pressure on was all about slowing them down.
Yep. It's a hard thing, like as a coach, you get a team in for maybe a week beforehand, and it's what are the things I absolutely need to teach and hope that no one sort of exploits these differences. Like chance of someone playing in 1-3-1, probably pretty far down your list of we need to have our zone offense in, which works against this. That sort of, their spacing wasn't great when they were faced with that 1-3-1. They did try to get the ball inside down to one of the bigs in the dunker spot there. And, see if they've got some sets or principles in play if the Sharks do play that again.
I think if you are forced to get the ball up slowly, then it's up to your players to develop their own momentum. So making good cuts, getting opens, getting good screens, getting some nice movement can generate the type of pace that you want, even though you've been forced to play in the half court. But at the moment, the Rams tend to be pass it, wait, get it back, pass it somewhere else, get it back. It tends to be a lot of individual attack. So, I honestly think they need to throw some cuts, throw some screens in there, and just get some more player movement.
Yeah.
Because right now, it's either one of the three imports trying to do something on their own or a kick out.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit that, then you've got a guy like Jared Weeks ready to leak out.
Yeah, it's almost like they were doing the expert level offense where, okay, if the defense overplays this, we go back and hit them with this. And they need to do a few more of the basic, first options rather than the second or third options.
And young players in the league, they need to be moved around. You can't just rely on them to stand in one spot and hit shots. They need to get a little bit of team momentum, a little bit of game action. So moving, cutting, screening, I think would be the best way to go for the Rams. The Sharks are quite happy to get this tempo where it is. See, there's a nice cut from Darling, and it led to an inside pass, which didn't turn out to be two, but Talavai's working hard under the basket. Does a nice job over Hunter to finish.
Yeah, the pass was to Darling. It bounced through his hands to Talavai. Went back to Darling, missed it. Talavai got the rebound and put it up and in.
Tarangi on the penetration, didn't quite make the pocket bounce pass. You see Morgan load up a three, and Darling pulls down a big rebound. Again, an opportunity to run for the Rams. They just need to fill some spots, move the ball, and look to shoot it. They do that. Darling probably wouldn't be your first choice from out there, although he can hit the three. Washburn was fouled inside there. I think it's going to be on Hunter.
Yeah, I think he's a capable shooter who is wide open, and Shepherd obviously had fantastic position inside, got the offensive rebound afterwards. A little bit of exception there to the physical play afterwards too.
Washburn's going to go to the line, see if he can add to the 4 points he started with. Seems to be quite a versatile player. A little bit of everything.
Well, Torrey Craig was a versatile player as well, so just need the showcase, I think, in the right sort of
guys like
systems.
That do well in our league. A little bit of size, but can handle the ball and shoot. So Weeks with the handoff. More handoff action. This time they go into Pledger. Weeks with the up fake. Washburn fouled him, but they didn't call it. Weeks, a little floater, couldn't get it to go. It's going to stay Southland ball on the baseline with 14 on the shot clock. Game's closed up. 6 points now.
I guess it's the Canterbury Rams MO so far.
Inside, and it's blocked by Shepherd, and blocked a second time by Shepherd. I'm not sure who the foul might go on Darling, who was in the front, but twice Shepherd got it from behind.
Yeah, the foul has been called on Darling there because Shepherd was right over the top and got it very, very cleanly. So I couldn't see where I am if there were quite a few people between me and Max Darling on the front there. So sure the referees will have a look at that afterwards and they get graded on all their calls to see if they were correct or incorrect.
And Karen Berry-Smith in town, and she came to watch the game and now has become the referee evaluator.
Right,
for the game.
okay.
Back from Australia for a visit, obviously. So, Morgan missed them both.
Well, the ball don't lie, so I guess it wasn't a foul. See if that makes its way into the referee evaluation.
Tough move here from Thames. He got it to go. Not sure that's the way I'd be wanting to see the Rams playing. A little bit too much isolation. Weeks came off the screen, found Pledger, hit him in the kneecaps, and stolen here by Shepherd. Shepherd, there was an opportunity to sneak a pass through to Talavai. He didn't see it. Thames puts it on the floor, goes all the way past Aston and finishes with the left. So a 3-point game, and Judd Flavel's seen enough of that momentum and he's called a timeout. The Sharks need to have a discussion, I would say, mostly about their defence.
Yeah, no, I think so. It was just one pass there. Aston closed out a little bit too high. It's actually a 2-point game now, so we were a little bit behind. And Thames was able to turn the corner right towards the middle there and get all the way to the rim before there was any help or much resistance to stop him.
So it seems like this lineup for the Rams comes with a lot more energy, and the bench will need to learn how to come in and support that, because it drops away a little bit as far as certainly the defensive energy. And offensively, those players are quite young, so they haven't really had an opportunity to establish themselves in the league, probably a little bit gun shy. But this 5 that they have at the moment, the starters for the Rams, once they figure it out how to play together, they could be a good lineup.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're obviously hoping for more runs like that, a 10-0 run for the Rams to close the gap to only 2. And yeah, you get a few more runs like that and that makes the game exciting. The crowd gets into it. I sort of feel like they're on the edge, waiting for a few more exciting plays to happen, and then the crowd will well and truly be into it, and then you can start feeding off that, and that sort of lifts your game to another level.
So the Sharks will have the ball on the baseline. 8:12 to go. Neither team in any kind of bonus foul trouble just yet in this quarter. 1 apiece. Coleman back in the game. Pledger, high post, looking for Coleman. Coleman, a little bit isolated here on Darling. Step back jumper from Coleman, good.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the ideal defence here, to switch Thames and Darling, and then Thames is so worried about Pledger keeping off the boards and then very late to get back to challenge the shot there.
Looked like they were willing to go under the screen too on Coleman, which I guess we need to find out whether that's a mistake, or so far he's managed to hit the mid-range jump shot pretty well. Talavai, 2 on the clock, got to penetrate, does so, puts it up over top of Tarangi, but it doesn't go. Coleman pushing the ball. Talavai trying to stay in front of Coleman. A little push off here from Coleman. Nice defense from Tony Talavai. He shut that baseline drive down, and Coleman stuck
just
slightly
a little
more.
bit.
That's
Yes.
more than an arm bar, really. That's what you call a fend.
It was one of the ones where I think Talavai certainly sold it. He was out of position a little bit and got helped a little bit, and yeah, it definitely is a call that gets made.
Back screen came from Darling, and then he rolled towards the basket, but he had to deal with the long arms of Alex Pledger. Weeks, screen from Pledger, penetrates, finds Morgan, puts it on the floor between players, tried to find Pledger, but he didn't. And Shepherd trying to find the open man. He does find Talavai, finds Thames, who loads up a 3 and has it rim out on him. Good pressure coming here from the Rams inside, although Talavai couldn't finish around the rim. Pass stolen by Shepherd.
They've got a chance to push here if they get everyone up quick.
Little Euro attempt, but couldn't find Talavai in the corner. Second quarter action here in the Sal's NBL, Cal Stadium in Christchurch. Alex Pledger goes out of the game, takes a seat. James Hunter back in. Rams staying with the same starters.
Discussion out of the field of view there. Gavin Zimmerman talking to Rams head coach Mark Dickel to, I think, warn him to keep his mouth shut. I don't think there was many things he was actually directing towards the referees. He certainly could have said he was complaining to his players for just throwing the ball out of bounds when they should have had a layup out of it.
Thames kicks it out to Washburn, loads up a three, and it's good. Julian Washburn.
So we're down to a 1-point game now.
So swinging momentum back and then forwards and then back again. Hunter. Well, that was an interesting jump hook as he faded away on it. Still got the roll. Shepherd playing point guard against Coleman. That might be a good matchup for Coleman. Shepherd handles it, no problem. Backdoor cut from Thames. Kick out to Washburn, loads up another three. This one's partially blocked. Tolivai's
done a good job there after a shot, trying to get the offensive rebound, and then he's had a couple of tips here when they've looked to pass the ball out after a rebound.
Weeks on the spin, gets Tolivai to foul him. That lane just looks far too open for Jared Weeks there.
I think that might have been a treble last year as well, not this year though with the gather step.
Well, the player guarding the Sharks player in the corner is so tight out on the corner that he's just allowing that driving lane to the basket, and Weeks is just, every time he sees it he wants to go there. This time he crossed over and then spun, went straight back into that hole again. Gets it to go, Jared Weeks, three-point play. Taylor Britt back in for the Rams. Zone again coming here from the Sharks. Britt trying to find someone to move it to. They're going back the same side. Washburn puts it on the floor, 7 on the clock. Gets it to Britt, kick out to Thames. Thames loads up the three, it doesn't go.
So three-point shooting, only 2 of 11 at the moment for the Rams. So Washburn's hit 1 and Max de Geest as well.
Coleman likes that pull-up, we're seeing that. He's deadly from mid-range. Shepherd, spin move, and gets Coleman to foul and finishes with the left. Winston Shepherd.
Coleman not particularly happy with that call, felt he was straight up, didn't do anything to warrant a foul calling, but it was good to see from Shepherd. I mean, they've obviously downsized putting their 3-man on him when he's bringing the ball up, and you've got to, you know, if you're going to play a guard on me, you've got to do some things like that, take him to the rim where you've got the size advantage.
Shepherd up to 5 points, 3 rebounds. He's got 2 assists, so he's working his way into that triple-double department again. Britt on Weeks. Dodonovich lost the handle. Britt headed to the corner. Shepherd penetrates. Kick out pass came to Darling, who ran into Hunter, and the foul will be on Hunter.
Yeah, I feel like if this was a year ago in high school, we might have tried to throw that down on the other team. James Hunter a little bit bigger and more mass than what he's probably used to going up against.
So where we thought the Rams would have the slight disadvantage in the paint, they are really turning it into an advantage of their own. They're just attacking, getting rebounds, and making it difficult to get outlet passes even when the defensive board has been taken.
Yeah.
Darling 1 of 2, cuts the gap to 4. Tarangi playing a little bit of point guard. Washburn didn't decide to put any heat on him. Sharks are certainly moving the ball a lot better than the Rams are, and Tarangi wide open hits the triple.
And Shepherd just waves everyone up. He'll initiate the offense.
Backdoor cut came from Thames, but he wasn't open. Washburn puts it on the floor this time. Penetration from Washburn off the glass.
It was well defended there by Tarangi. Just stoned him, stayed straight up, then was able to collect the defensive rebound after the shot.
Mid-range pull-up from Coleman. This one doesn't go, and Britt, smallest man on the floor, comes down with the board.
Yeah, I think Washburn might have tipped that straight down to him, though.
Shepherd up against Tarangi, has him in the post. Working away, Shepherd over top of Tarangi, gets the foul.
So Tarangi's trying to stay straight up, but the timing was not quite there. Shepherd turned in just while his arms were still slightly bent down. That's what the foul's been called on.
Sub coming in for the Rams, Julian Washburn will go out, and
Josh Aitchison
comes in to replace him.
So it was about this time last game as well, towards the end of the second quarter, and he had a few offensive rebounds and tips that kept the ball alive for teammates.
Good young player, has a nice three-point shot, gives some good energy on defense.
No,
Shepherd makes the first.
Both teams could certainly do with some more three-point shooting. The Sharks 3 of 8, not too bad for them. Rams though 2 of 11.
Shepherd takes his score up to 8 points now. Rakawa back in the game for the Sharks. Stolen by Britt from behind. And stolen by Tarangi on the outlet. Darling doesn't get a block this time, and Tarangi goes right over top of him. Rakawa wants that steal back.
Well, there's been a few chances the Rams have had where they've done something good on defense and then just sort of thrown the ball out of bounds or given it right back.
Britt went through a gap and Tarangi stuck a hand out, fouled him.
Yeah, and they're in the bonus, so he'll be shooting 2 free throws here.
Washburn's going to return, as is Luke Aston for the Sharks. Xavier Thames takes a seat.
And easily makes the first free throw there for Britt.
Taylor Britt, the lefty, on the line. 2 for 2 for Britt. Team foul situation with 3 minutes to go here in this quarter. The Sharks already have 5 team fouls. The Rams only had 2. Darling, good defense against Hunter. Quick outlet coming. Britt is very nice in the open floor. Finds the open man, which is Darling with a Euro step. Went through the gap, couldn't finish it. Again, they battle away on the outlet. Hunter managed to find the bottom of the backboard before it found Rakawa. Backdoor cut from Coleman. Couldn't get that one to go, and Washburn with the board. Washburn finds Britt. Britt slicing through the keyhole. Aitchison skip pass to Washburn. Loads up a 3 from the corner, and it's good. Julian Washburn.
So that's his second 3 that he's hit there. So certainly helping. If he can hit a few more threes, that's going to open up the whole offensive floor for the Rams.
Takes his scoring up to 8 points for the game. Britt down with a steal here. Aston to beat. Kick-off pass here inside to Shepherd, who throws it down. And James Hunter's having a rethink about where he was defensively, because he's had that jammed on his head.
Yeah, I think I've got a feeling we're going to see this on the plays of the week, dunks of the week. So not the ideal way to run a fast break there, but came through in the end, and Shepherd was on. I've had enough of as a team missing layups. I'm going to go up and yak this down on him.
The tempo looked quite good there for the Rams. They're getting out and pushing the ball. And that's what I was saying earlier. When they get to run like that, then all of a sudden you get all kinds of freedom. Whereas trying to walk it up the floor and go one-on-one against this big, experienced lineup is probably not the way to go.
Oh, it's like anything. I mean, you're more likely to find defensive mistakes while people are running back, whereas if they're all standing down, can find their landmarks where they need to be, where they want to try and keep their offensive player, then they're going to find it easier on defense. So
let's talk about Taylor Britt for a minute here. I mean, he's had some time in college in the States. He's been a good young player through the rep program, and he has the ability to slice through defenses. He's quite smooth with the handle, and he's a lefty.
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit like James Harden. It's a cross-racial comparison there, but that sort of stop-start, able to hesitate, read exactly when the defender is going to overplay him. And he's also a whole lot stronger than you think when he gets up near the rim. Very, very good at knowing if he's not able to finish it, to shoot it and get his own offensive rebound and put it in before the defensive player can get it.
As the season goes on, this team's going to become more and more his ship to steer. Yep. Subs in the game for the Rams. Our first look at number 22, Nick Irwood. The first minutes here in the NBL, the Sal's NBL. for the former Lincoln Scholarship athlete.
Yes, no, very, very, very pleased for him to be out there. It'll be interesting to see. I'd say he's probably going to match up on Connor Morgan there, and or possibly Alex Pledger may have drawn that straw there.
Good three-point shooter, and even though he's a little bit smaller as far as forwards go, has the ability to get good rebounds and plays a good physical game.
Yeah, he's got very good understanding of where balls are going to bounce to, and his arms are a lot longer than you think.
Got in the way of Alex Pledger there, managed to get a tip. It's pulled down by Coleman, who finds Morgan, who finds Aston in the corner, loads up the three, couldn't get it. Coleman over the back of Irwood. Gets Aston for another attempt from three. This one is good for Aston.
So yeah, you just, what we said, when you're going to be outmatched in terms of size, you've got to keep those big guys off the boards, and then everyone needs to get in and help.
Physical battle going on between Shepherd and Coleman. Coleman is just bashing him. Shepherd's not trying to look like he's having anything to do with it, but he's bashing back without actually throwing any kind of a forearm. A lot of physicality there.
And the foul is on somebody else. No one knows exactly what the call was then.
An interesting discussion here between Flavel and Matt Bathurst.
So Aitchison's the one that gets the foul there, number 13 red.
Taylor Britt's gone out. Xavier Thames has come back in. Shepherd will have Pledger. Thames will try to slow down the Luke Aston shooting train. Weeks to the basket, stripped, but the foul will go on. It's either
13,
on...
I think it's 13 again, so Josh Aitchison.
Josh Aitchison getting his money's worth this evening. Wrong place, wrong time, young man.
Shepherd's just asking. Pledger had the... He's been called for a few offensive fouls in the Australian NBL, that sort of handoff where he turns his body in after giving the ball away, so I think that's what Shepherd's there asking, that Weeks set him up, you know, faked outside, went inside as Pledger was turning, and that's where he ran into to get clipped a little bit.
Fourth team foul, so they took it from the baseline, and Morgan got wide open on the out-of-bounds play. Morgan up to 4 points. He's got 5 rebounds and 3 assists, so he's got a nice little stat line developing. Thames finds Shepherd. Shepherd goes inside. Coleman trying to hold him. Couldn't do so. I think that matchup, he might be a little undersized to try and handle Winston Shepherd. Long pass down the floor. Here we go. Pledger on the spin. Spin cycle for Big Alex. Hits Morgan on the outside, and Coleman inside gets a tap. And still the discussions continue between Coleman and Shepherd.
And Coleman's hunting him out there. There's very, very interesting to see this. I wonder if they've had a bit of history elsewhere in the world. Most likely probably in the US college system. But
there is a possibility of that, yes.
But it certainly seems like Coleman's the one instigating or making sure to tell, but Shepherd definitely could have said something down the other end after he scored in the post against him.
So I think it's fairly obvious when the Rams start to make subs, they find it hard to stay in touch. And when they have that quicker lineup out there, or that starting lineup, they seem to match up okay, and they seem to get the tempo right. So it's really a matter of the young players coming in and just trying to figure out how to play with the more experienced guys.
Yeah, well, one of the parameters or restrictions Dickel's got to have to work with is Captain Tony Tolivai's on 3 fouls, so he's going to have to keep an eye on that. No, he doesn't have him in here. 17 seconds. May as well save him for the second half here. But yeah, don't want him to have to be worried about where he is in terms of fouls and managing that. But you know, only 2 more and then he'll be out of the game if he does get called for some.
Max Darling's back in and Max de Geest in, so the 2 Maxes join the fray. Here we go as Xavier Thames is giving it to Julian Washburn with 13 on the game clock. Running the clock down, Thames. He's got 2 very large players in front of him, and the kick out comes to Washburn. Why not? He's hit 2 already. Pledger pulls down the rebound. That will expire the clock. So at halftime here at Cal Stadium, the Sal's NBL, the SIT Zero Fees Sharks 47. Wheeler Motor Company Rams 43. We'll get James to catch up with a couple of players just before they all head to the locker room. You see Mike Barnett sending over Coleman.
Right here with Orlando Coleman. So nice battle inside, you and Winston Shepherd going at each other a little bit. What sort of things what have you liked about the way your team's been playing all together in this third game of the season for you guys?
We're playing pretty well, but I think we played better. We're supposed to held them to 39 at the half, so we didn't do it. So we got to come out and play better, play harder. But as long as we keep fighting, we'll be all right.
Yep. No, it's been a game of runs. You guys had, I think, a 14-0 run there in the first quarter. The Rams came back a little bit into it. So what sort of messages will you have for your teammates here at halftime?
We just got to get stops. We got to get 3 stops in a row and go down and push it and play our game. We play our game, we're going to be good at the end.
Thank you very much. Best of luck second half. So I'm here with Xavier Thames, the Canterbury Rams. One of your much better shooting performance for you this half than what you had the opening half last week there. So how have you found the game after another week working with your teammates and getting used to what everyone can do?
Just getting more comfortable. We was only together for 2 weeks. I had a bad shooting game last week. We just got to keep attacking, get to the basket, and get to the free throw line. I think we'll be all right. We're down 4 right now. We got to keep him off the glass.
Yeah, no, they had a 14-0 run earlier in the first half. You guys came back with a 10-0 run in the second half, mainly through keeping the pace up. So is that something that you guys have been looking to try and do, especially in this game?
Yeah, for sure. We got to get stops and get on the run because they're real big, they're long. So we got to get out, get stops, and get to the basket and transition.
Now, well, the crowd's certainly into it, so we're enjoying it. Everyone at home as well. So best of luck for the second half. Back to you, Terry.
Thanks, James. So at half-time here, 47 plays 43. We have a mini ball game in the middle here. Just a quick recap. Rams jumped out to an early lead, then the Sharks stamped their authority on the game and turned that into a nice handy 10-point lead of their own. And then it battled to and fro, and it's been a battle of tempo, really, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, it's nothing at all surprising. The Sharks going to try and bludgeon you on the boards, get it up there, get their defence set. The Rams have to sort of get turnovers, push the pace, and try and get them into closeout situations.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half. We've got some highlights here from the game last evening between the Go Media Jets and the Taylor Hawks.
And the angle wasn't the best either.
No.
A dribble out to the 45 would have made that better as Jared Kenny masters his troops, get a nice pass to Russ Batch, and he nails import, number 44. It's an early touch just to get the ball. Here he is, got the ball in the wing, he shoots it straight away. And his first touch goes down for a big 3. But yeah, it could just knock a bit of sense into you, just could focus you, different for different people. Oh, it's Deshaun Knight does a nice little step out jumper. Let's see if Theo Johnson gets a chance. Got the ball in. McKinley attacks it. Now he's very athletic.
Yes.
And
very nice move. Great ball movement.
Great, good for him. Lovely backdoor play. In pass to Nick Fee. As McGovern shoots a 3, misses. Skeen grabs the offensive rebound, gets it out to Nick Fee. Taylor Hawks get back into it. Lovely little backdoor play, and Russ Batch should get to score, but we certainly know he can and could. As Jared Kenny.
He's really worked on it, and it's an important part of his game that he needs to have.
And here come the Jets with a bit of a fast break, and woo! And once again, a couple of Kiwi players playing really well.
There you go, Callum.
Callum McGrath. As Newton makes a lovely jump hook, as Karan Iverson shows his length and attacks the hoop, and he's been actually very good in there. Gets the ball out to Newton, comfortably on balance.
Max, authentic New York pizza.
Hi guys, Tom Abercrombie from the Tall Blacks here. I bet you didn't know, but the TAB are big funders of basketball in New Zealand, and Mark's here with a cool new offer.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting for basketball fans out there. If you haven't got a TAB account, download the app and use the promo code BBALL20. Do a $20 deposit, we'll match it, so your balance will be 40, plus we give Basketball New Zealand $20 as well. It's a pretty good offer.
So if a new customer signs up, they get a $20 bonus, plus Basketball New Zealand gets $20 as well.
That's right, Alex, it's a pretty good deal. Do remember, BBALL20 in the promo code when you download the app and put in an account. Enjoy it, have fun, basketball's a great game.
Tukaha.
It means stand strong.
To the great challenges we face.
To stand strong with our brothers and sisters.
With our families and our communities.
With our supporters.
With those who lift us up to take on the world.
It's the name of our haka.
Tāringa whakarongo ki Aomori.
Stand strong.
Stand with us.
Tukaha, New Zealand.
Welcome back to the cosy confines of Cal Stadium. Sal's NBL action. SIT, Zero Fee Sharks up against the Wheeler Motor Company Rams. Still half time, 4 minutes and about 30 seconds to go. 47 to the Sharks, 43 to the Rams. Looking at a few stats here. Biggest lead in the game, the Sharks had an 11-point lead at one stage, and the Rams also had a lead. They had a 6-point lead. Interesting other stat here, the bench points, which was somewhat predictable. The Sharks have got 14 points coming off their bench, where the Rams only have 5.
Yeah.
We have a look at Winston Shepherd there in shot, which was very timely for that graphic. So yeah, he had 27 in the last game, but tonight Winston Shepherd is working on that stat line again. He's got 4 rebounds, he's got 3 assists, he's got 3 steals, and he's got 13 points already. So a nice little stat line developing for him.
And you can see there on it, he's 4 of 7 from the floor, 5 of 6 on the thing, and he's certainly looking to take it all the way to the rim then when he's had a smaller guy matched up on him.
So he's been doing it all, including handling some point guard duties, and he's also had some interesting moments with Orlando Coleman face to face. Xavier Thames is the other scorer really for the Rams at this stage. Xavier's managed, he had 21 in that last game, but so far this evening he's managed 4 assists, and you see his shooting percentages are going a little better, although the 3-point line's not looking to flash 0 of 4. He's only 1 of 2 from the line. He has got to the basket a couple of times, which is quite nice. He's managed 9 points.
Yeah, two rebounds as well and 2 steals, and his 3-point shots have been good shots, like they're not force up sort of ones there. So I think I'll be surprised if he stays at 0%, or I think he'll move up into the 30s, you know, pretty quickly in this season.
He just needs to learn the law of arc in this particular gym with these particular rims. For the Sharks, Orlando Coleman.
Sorry, we've got Julian Washburn first. He's the one who hit a couple of threes for the Canterbury Rams.
Yeah, he's managed 11 points, which was pretty nice, and he started to hit from the perimeter as well, which was really good to see, because we weren't sure coming in whether he had that type of range. He's been to the basket a couple of times as well. He's managed to get to the line. 5 rebounds, which is good, and he's getting the job done defensively and offensively, which a number of guys in the Rams team have been forcing the Sharks into problems around the basket, even when they've managed their own defensive boards.
Yeah, well, the number one thing though has got to be the 3-point makes. I mean, when, as a team they've only made 3 and he's had 2 of them, and yeah, until they can start hitting consistently and have people worried about them, they're going to find it hard to open the floor up.
There's young Taylor Britt for the Rams. Like we said, he's starting to show signs of being able to run the ship. Not a huge point production as yet from Taylor, but he's managed to get himself to the line, made 2 of 2. But the interesting thing is when he's on the floor, that shifts Xavier Thames into the 2 spot, which kind of bumps everybody up size-wise.
Yeah, no, and he's certainly found Weeks as well in defence, where Weeks had those 2 drives, I think, in a row where he got all the way to the rim. Britt came in and certainly slowed the ball up, forced him to zigzag across the floor, and that started 96 feet or whatever away from the hoop, and created a much tougher offensive system for the Sharks that possession.
So about 55 seconds to go here. Young Max de Geest for the Rams came in, hit a nice corner jump shot. He's showing signs that he's willing to take shots and make shots. So the more comfortable he gets, the more minutes he will get on the floor. Orlando Coleman, well, he's been in the action, let's say. He's been in the face of Winston Shepherd, 9 rebounds, and he's willing to tell people about that as well. He's 5 of 9 from the floor, deadly in that mid-range jump shot area, and so far 10 points for the game. So yeah, for a guard, 9 boards is a pretty good evening.
Yeah, he does have 2 fouls, so he will certainly have to be careful about how much he shows on the floor for the referees, that they might see it and give him some cheap ones.
Some quite even scoring again, as you would expect with the Sharks. So other scorers, Luke Aston's got 6 points at this stage. Ruben Tarangi's got 8 points. And we're looking at Connor Morgan, first time up. He's building a nice little stat line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 points to date. And we see Weeks will bring the ball up the floor for the Sharks. Little handoff action coming. Coleman looks inside. They make this high post and then the cut off it. Coleman bumped on the way to the basket, and
Tony Tolavai, you may just leave him out here and just say, hey, you've got one more foul. Once you use it up, that's it.
That handoff action that gets Coleman is going to be very difficult to stop.
So Taylor Britt, after we talked a little about his defensive pressure up the floor, he's the one that's getting the first entrance there after Tolavai heads to the bench after 13 seconds.
Inside to Pledger, although Pledger couldn't get it over Darling, and had it blocked the second time. That could have been a block for Darling, I believe.
Yeah, he kept his arm straight up. Pledger tried to force the shot up through his arms. No foul called as he was straight up and just not quite strong enough to get up over Darling's arms.
Thames
up to
with Tarangi and finds Darling, who changes direction, tries to go over Pledger, which is probably not the best plan.
Depends how high you can jump, Terry.
And high you can throw it. Coleman in the post with Britt. Britt managed to stop him from spinning. And Coleman goes to the basket. He'll draw the foul. This time I think it'll be on Taylor Britt. And it is. Probably saved one for Max Darling, because he certainly got his money's worth after the first foul.
So I think the questioning here is not the fact that it's a foul, but saying he passed the ball off. So shouldn't that be from the side as opposed to two shots?
Either way, Coleman's on the line.
No doubt there. So the SIT Zero Fee Sharks still likely to be one of those teams in the hunt for the championship towards the end of the season.
Oh, they're loaded with talent.
Well, I never feel like they throw their talent away either. I feel like they have it, they maximise what they can do. Look at the right sort of systems for their players, and then that's why they have so much success.
Tarangi putting pressure on Shepherd. Britt throws it in the post. This is where Shepherd will have the advantage over Tarangi's quite a bit taller. Thames on the way to the basket, left it short. Morgan on the push. Weeks, penetration from Weeks. Little step back jumper. Jared Weeks didn't go, and Thames corrals the rebound.
They look like a chance there for the Rams to really push the pace there at rebound.
Darling goes right at Pledger, gets him right in the chest, but again, I guess you've got to try, but it's more difficult to shoot over Big Alex than if you take him a little further out and maybe shoot a mid-range pull-up.
I think there'll be a few learning situations in film for Max Darling.
Morgan.
Good closeout there, doesn't matter though. 3-point knocks in for him.
Looking very comfortable from the perimeter. The big Canadian, the big stretch four. Washburn finds Thames. Pace slow again, which doesn't ideally suit the Rams. Shepherd dishes it off. Darling tries to throw it down over Pledger this time, but a no-go again.
Well, Pledger's had a few turnovers, I think 3 so far in the first half, mainly off the double team, but he has been up to the task every time Darling has tried to take the ball inside there and score inside. He's been up to it, knocked it away, defended him, whatever.
Didn't quite see that, but after Coleman finished that play, there was a bit of flex action down on the baseline for the Corporates, and Max Darling will pick up another foul.
You've got to be worried about the fouls as well if you're Mark Nicol. It's not surprising a relatively young team that you just pick them up, and then imports a lot of the time they struggle with the way the game's officiated here, and they can sometimes tend to pick up fouls very, very quickly.
Yeah, well, fairly thin, lightweight forward line, so we may see Troy Tamara have a crack at coming in and maybe trying to guard Pledger.
Yeah. I've just looked at it. There's only 13 fouls for the Rams and 12 for the Sharks. So take away Tony Tolavai's 4 fouls, and that's only 9 for the rest of the team. So
still only reading 2 fouls there for Max Darling. Seems like he has more than that, but at this stage it's only 2. He's going to stay in the game anyway.
Taylor Britt has 3 as well. So Britt and Tolivai are probably the 2 with more bigger foul issues than others.
Coleman starting to become a real problem for the Rams. The penetration, the pull-ups. A nice high shot off the glass. Earns himself the 3-point play. Pushing this lead out now.
Yeah, it's up to 8 points here, so a danger spot for the Rams.
Britt goes over top of Pledger. And it's out of bounds. The referee, Gavin Zimmerman, is pointing to the Rams, and it will stay that way. There was a lot of debate coming from the Sharks.
Well, I felt Pledger that time, he's kept his arms straight up basically every time he's been challenged. That one I thought he did drop them down a little bit, so I don't think they could have complained too much if he was given a foul. And there's Britt there, nice stop and go, throws Pledger, then able to sneak it up. And what hand did you say it was, Terry?
Left-handed, and that's the little change of pace. Undid the big man on that occasion, but he gets his own at the other end.
You don't normally see Pledger with an alley-oop sort of finish like that, above the rim even, but nice seal, catch the ball as it was moving.
I'd describe that one more as a mini oop.
Right.
It was slightly lower than the rim. Darling goes over top of Pledger and gets it to go, and he was all over his arm on that occasion too, so Darling unlucky he didn't get a 3-point play out of that.
Yeah, it could be one of those things that Darling's going in and hitting him first, so the referees may be deciding that he's causing the arms to drop down, and that's what the foul, why they're not calling a foul against Pledger.
He's angered the Giant and certainly woken him up, because Pledger went straight down on the block and took it right at Max Darling.
Darling now is on 3 fouls.
So you search around in the foul area for somebody who has one of Max Darling's fouls. Pledger finishes the 3-point play. Biggest lead of the night.
And just having that pressure up slows the game down. Really good decision to have that when you're away from home. You make it really hard for the crowd to get into it, because they want to see a game that's just running up and down. You know, alley-oops, fast break layups, 3-point shots, things like that. But forced into a half-court shot.
Yeah.
Back down, one person touches the ball.
Tarangi with the crossover, tried to find Pledger, but broken up by Shepherd. Rams just kind of losing their way here a little bit offensively. Again, we talk about movement, player movement and ball movement. They have neither at the offensive end at the moment. The Sharks have all the momentum. They're just working. Pledger is just working on Max Darling, giving him a lesson in size.
No, he did about as well as he can help guarding him there, forced him into a running Hulk shot.
Shepherd tries to go around. The foul will be on Coleman, I believe. So their little battle continues.
But, you know, it looks like 16. Looks like it's gone on Morgan instead.
And Coleman's up to the challenge anyways. Every opportunity he has to. We don't know if these two have history in college ball, but they've got certainly developing some history in the Sal's NBL.
Coleman's still complaining, like, I didn't foul him then. So I don't think he's aware that it's actually his teammate Morgan who asked for the foul, and that's who the referee saw 16 is who deserves it as well.
Winston Shepherd pushes his scoring up to 13. 5 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with that.
So we've seen a bit of both of these teams. You had like any sort of skills. What do you think these two teams would benefit the most from if they, could add a little bit in one particular area?
Well, the Sharks pretty much have most areas covered. They've got ball handling, they've got shooting, they've got size, they've got athleticism. They can play at pace or they can play it slow. So, yeah, like you say, they're going to be at the top of the tree. The Rams, they kind of have a lot of the same players, so they're just lacking a big, really. I think they need a genuine big to try and contend with the Pledgers of the world. Weeks off to the races. Pledger rebound on cue. Nothing anyone could do about it because they're just too small.
Yeah, I agree they need a big, but I'm also wondering if some more three-point shootings, we know that De Geest is a fantastic shooter, but doesn't have the experience, so you almost like his shooting ability, someone who can do the other things defensively, help rebound and things like that. So
well, Thames needs like half an hour of coaching on shooting with arc, and I think he'll come good. But he really needs to be a stone cold killer from the perimeter, because the Rams just don't have, like you say, the perimeter game. So I think we're probably going to find more and more teams sitting around in the zone.
Yes, yeah.
And because you don't have any real legit post-up activity going on apart from Shepherd, then it becomes a matter of moving the ball. Otherwise, this is the type of game we're going to get. The better teams are going to come in here and just grind away.
Yeah. We see Tamara's coming here. Max Darling to the bench with 4 fouls.
Washburn, a little bit of pressure from Tarangi, managed to get it over. Thames on his way to the basket to be fouled by Coleman.
Shepherd's talking to Morgan this time, so maybe it is Shepherd who does the talking and Coleman was responding.
Substitution coming in. Coleman will go out with 3 fouls, and Luke Aston will return. Paint well and truly packed. In the 1-3-1 zone, looking to trap in the corners. Thames, penetration stopped by Tarangi. Great job on defense by Tarangi. Britt found a little gap but couldn't get the ball through it.
Yeah, that's Tarangi just knows what their defense is designed to do, where the help ball is, and he's like, I don't care if you beat me this way, you are not beating me to the middle. And Thames tried to fake him out. That's a great shot there. That's what they needed. Not much time left. You're going to have to put it up yourself, and that'll hopefully help him feeling a little bit better about his three-point
He needs to be thinking about that every time he touches the ball. Double team coming. Tarangi looks to move to the open man. Rakawa on the other side. Penetration from Rakawa. Took the bump from Britt.
And Britt's gone up against Rakawa a few times at under 23 level, I think.
Shepherd, can he finish it? No, he can't, but there'll be a foul.
So they had a 3-point shot, which is good for Thames. They come down, have a double team, force a rotation, and actually get a stop there, and then push the ball, get a chance to go to the line for 2 free throws. So you'd probably rather have the layup to keep the pace up, but next best thing here.
2 subs coming in. The 2 big men will go out for the Sharks, Morgan and Pledger. So they've downsized here with Vodonovich and Hunter. It'll be interesting to see what happens, see if the Rams can make a little run against this sort of more medium-sized lineup. Shepherd gets the first one to roll.
So it hasn't been one big long, just looking at the live sets, hasn't been a massive run in one go. The sort of Sharks have added sort of a 6-2 run, then another 6-2 run, and then all of a sudden they were up by 17 points, sorry.
Britt working on Rakawa. Rakawa gives it up to Vodonovich. Penetration from him, dishes it to Hunter. Hunter looking inside, easy 2. James Hunter. Thames looking to push the pace. That's the right thing to do. Penetration goes through the gap, finishes at the rim. Xavier Thames split the defense on that occasion. Tarangi. Hunter finds Rakawa off the ball screen. Good movement here coming from the Sharks. Penetration from Tarangi, gets to the basket. Tamara couldn't do anything about it.
He needed to be probably half a step to the side and half a step earlier to really be able to stone that drive off.
Washburn penetrating, step through move from Washburn. Nice finish at the rim. Britt runs into Hunter. It'll be an offensive foul. No, sorry, a defensive foul, sorry, on Britt.
Yeah, that wasn't the tune we were talking about with Pledger. That was he headed the ball off and Britt just went running straight into him there.
Not something you see all the time. Defensive player causing a foul like that.
So can't fault his effort, but that is foul number 4. The way the game is, though, if they're not someone that you majorly need minutes from, would you just leave them in here, do you think?
Well, I mean, if you're going to make any ground, you have to do it now, I believe, because, like you say, you've had a 6-2 run, another 6-2 run, and they're putting together another one here.
Yep.
So eventually, you're just going to be too far behind, and you're not going to catch up. So you don't want to die wondering. I think you just leave your better players out there, and
when they can't play, then you work out what's next.
Yeah. Tamara looking for the step through, goes with the jump hook, had to go over top, but couldn't get it.
So I think it'll be 14 on the shot clock here. Yep, it's just changed to that. You can see up the top. So Thames has just put Shepherd on, so we'll see what they run here. So
Thames with Weeks in front of him. Pull up from Thames. Left it short. Interesting call down here on the baseline.
It might be a double foul.
It is, I think. Vodonovic has won. Let's see who the other fouler was.
So Tom Vodonovic, number 14. And then I did not see who got the other one as well.
Might have been Tamara.
Anyway, it is a jump ball. That's why the Rams still have it.
Washburn pulls it out of the sky. Dangerous pass on the inbound. Shepherd spinning, turning, drops it over the rim, and it drops out.
He likes to sort of finger roll from right up there. He did a good job finishing those last week.
Weeks trying to kill it dead with one look, but he couldn't get it to go. We've lost someone from the corporate box.
Yes.
And he's still all good.
Yeah, I think that's Alan Weymouth, the owner of Barbecues Direct. So I think it's signed. Yeah, you can see it just underneath there. And he's actually on the Canterbury basketball
board member of the Canterbury. He's one of your bosses, James.
He is. So I'm glad to see he's still alive and kicking, and seems pretty happy to be involved in the game there.
Thames is attacking Rakawa, and the foul will go on Rakawa.
So we might see a basketball game soon, Terry.
Might break into one. It's looking a little one-on-one-ish at the red end.
But both teams now have to worry a little bit about fouls, so you can't just grab the other team when you want to. Pledges.
I say bring back the continuity offense, James. I say bring it back. Someone needs it.
Okay.
We need some sort of pattern, because right now there's young players out there who really don't know where to be.
Yep.
I think the imports are fine. They can figure it out, but the young players, they really don't know how to play out there. Weeks brings it down the floor. Vodonovic on the handoff. Into this handoff action, comes into the high post next. Weeks goes to work, tries to go upstairs, and Shepherd meets him there, but it'll be a foul.
I think it's Tamara got the foul.
First man on the spot was Tamara. He got the foul.
It's just that little bit, Pledge is so good at jumping straight up, and well, he knows he's taller and bigger than everyone. He doesn't have to jump and block everything, but if he jumps up to challenge it, makes it hard for people to go and score. Tamara got there a tiny bit, a little bit too much with his elbows. That's what was called where,
They've run that play action several times now. It's producing something nearly every time. I'm thinking letting the guy come off for that handoff is probably the most dangerous part of the action. If the big was to step off into the lane and prevent that, he would be leaving his own man wide open, but with his back to the basket in the high post. So presumably, even if that guy kept it and went towards the middle, he might get some help from a teammate.
Yeah.
But at the moment, when they just let him come off there and drive that lane, it's an easy two.
I'd certainly try doubling or sending that guy off the big, because Sharks have not done a good job of interior passing when there has been a double or the guys rotated. Had that one that came off Pledge's feet and a couple of turnovers from him. So certainly
Shepherd on the hop.
You're faced with an open layup. It sounds like the much better decision.
So it's a game of one-on-one with 4 teammates involved. The Sharks are just slowly building away to the lead.
So Xavier Thames, his first foul, his first foul of the game. I think he was in two minds. Should I try and take a charge, or should I try and steal the ball and unfortunately, when you do both, you usually get a blocking foul as you rake down.
So that narrow offensive structure where it's one-on-one from the top, if plan A, getting to the basket, doesn't work and they wind up shooting it, it's relatively easy to leak out, which is an example of what just happened for the Sharks.
Yeah.
So the Rams need to work on their side-to-side passing action. They need to actually get some defenders engaged, get them in some closeouts on the opposite side of the floor, rather than this ISO one-on-one thing at the top, which is really feeding the orange machine rather than the red one.
Oh, you can definitely do the one-on-one stuff if you have someone who can score, you know, like James Harden sort of thing. Other than that, you need to have movement, force the defense into binds, and then create good shots as a team. And 2 chances here from Winston. Tip doesn't go in. And Sharks push the ball up by 15.
Aston, kick out pass. Vodanovich finds Weeks. He's not going to die wondering. Lets it fly, and in it goes. A timeout will come here from the Rams. They need to discuss it. What they really need to do is engage some more defensive players so that they can get to... Actually, the last possession was a good example of doing that. They just didn't finish the little bunny around the basket.
Yep.
But that was a lot better than the previous 5 or 6 possessions that led to this this lead that the Sharks have managed to build up.
Well, I feel this is a much bigger mountain than last week the Rams have to try and overcome. I do feel like I didn't have much when it was sort of a 6-8 point lead for the Rangers. I didn't feel like we'd seen anything from the Rams that gave you the feeling that they could fight back into the game, and yet they did. So bigger mountain this time to climb though.
So leading scorers at the moment in the game, 19 for Winston Shepherd. He's got the 7 rebounds and the 3 assists to go along with that. Xavier Tames has 16. He's got 3 rebounds and 4 assists. That's on the Rams side of things. At the moment for the Sharks, the guys on the floor, Weeks has 12 points. He's got 1 rebound. He's got 4 assists. Yep. James Hunter putting together a nice little stat line himself, 7 points, 5 assists. That's pretty nice coming off the bench. Luke Aston, still just the 6 points, although I feel like he's been scoring more. Maybe his points been more spectacular.
Oh, you can see that Judd Flavel's picked his guys. His 5 starters are all in double figure, and you know they've clamped down the turnovers. They had 12 in the first half and have not added to that tally there in the second half, which has helped them extend their lead.
Aitchison went to the basket. He turned it over, trying to dish it off. Weeks finds Vodanovich. Pull-up jumper on the break. If that goes...
He's obviously been told to shoot. I saw him play about 4 years ago, up in maybe 5 at the Wellington, I think, St. Pat's Silverstream. And,
James decided not to shoot it. Go on, James, yep.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to bully his way towards the rim, penetrate as much as possible, but capable of shooting a 3 as he did on the break there.
So Aitchison decides to slap at the ball, very close to being one of those calls that winds up with a couple of foul shots.
I think it is there.
It's going to wind up with that anyway, because the bonus is well and truly... There's only 6 seconds to go.
Yeah, it could be. It depends who you fouled. It could be I doubt the decision-making went into it, but you could actually decide to foul someone here. They go to the line and you end up with the last shot of the quarter. We'll see if they run up and shoot a 3. Weeks might actually end up with a positive out of this little exchange.
Weeks is pretty decent from the foul line. He gets that to roll around and drop in for him. Can push this lead out to 20 with this foul shot here. And he does so. So 6 to go here, down 4 seconds, and a kick out. Aitchison, long range 3, in and out. Hunter with the rebound. That'll end the 3rd quarter. 82 to the SIT, 0 fees. Southland Sharks 62 to the Wheeler Company Rams. And James, somewhat predictable, but time to learn some lessons. Otherwise, this could be a real spanking. The 4th quarter, if they continue to play the way they are, which is really, like I said, feeding the orange machine, this game could blow out significantly.
Yeah, I mean, the chance of winning this is very, very low. So you probably got to think, what do we want out of this? Number one is try and prepare for next week, and you know, this style of play, you've got to have really good individual performances to be able to win or be competitive. So you've got to try and reiterate what our rules are, what we're trying to do as a team, and then number two is probably the crowd here. You know, it's has to operate like a business. You need people to come in and be interested in this game, and if you don't play a particularly exciting brand of basketball, then people aren't as likely to come back to it or tune in.
People want to see hustle. They want to see skin on the floor. They want to see guys working hard. You know, if you lose, you lose. But if you're out there diving on the loose ball, if you're out there working hard and boxing out, taking your opportunities, really, in the scenario we're in at the moment, like you say, it's a tough road to hoe, especially against a very experienced team like this one. But if they come out of this game learning their lesson about moving the ball and moving some players and not taking quick, narrow shots, then they may achieve something for next week.
Yes, no, well, they'll have their test up again anyway. So, as we said earlier, 5 of the Southland Sharks all in double figures here, so 14 for Fletcher and also for Jared Weeks, 15 for Orlando Coleman, 11 for Connor Morgan and 10 for Ruben Tarangi. So Fletcher actually has his double-double with 10 rebounds, and so does Coleman, who also has 10 rebounds. Funnily enough for him, 7 offensive rebounds, 3 defensive. So, you know, it hasn't been Fletcher that's been the main one that hits people off the boards. It's been Coleman.
Coleman, he's an energy guy and he's back in the game. So they've got a quick lineup here, and they throw the lob. Some serious damage to the furniture from Coleman.
So that's definitely one of the opening quarter plays there.
De Geese lines up a 3. Weeks with the rebound. Coleman was eyeing up a fast break lob there, and he didn't get it. Weeks, pull-up jumper.
Well, I suppose the other side, you can allow the other team to get alley-oops and people will come back to watch that as well, I guess.
Washburn to the basket. Nice little finger roll over the basket behind Vodanovich. Weeks penetration, the foul will come from Darling. That'll have him on the edge now. He's got 4.
No, that's his 5th now.
Is that the 5th?
Yeah.
They finally caught up with him. Shepherd had a little mini break and he's back in.
Yeah, so Max Darling gets a nice collapse there from the crowd. So he finishes his night 5 points, 2 of 9. Most of them he tried to go up through Alex Pledger, and he also had 3 rebounds, 1 block. So a little bit tougher going against the probably about foot height difference between him and Pledger.
Jared Weeks putting on a long-range shooting display, and Winston Shepherd saying, I can do that. You can do that, I can do that. They're going to have to get up on Weeks because he's not bothered about where the three-point line is at the moment. He's somewhat further out. Aston loads up a 3, and that drops. So there's serious danger of this one really rolling out on the Rams if they can't start to contain some of this perimeter shooting. Talavai, penetration through the gap, stripped by Aston. Coleman sees De Geest in front of him, just attacks De Geest. Never really had good position.
He's very, very strong, isn't he? So, I'm going to go straight into you. Your arm's going to come down. That's going to be a foul, and I'm still going to get the shot up and have a chance to try and get a three-point play. It didn't quite go in for him.
Coleman will be on the line.
He's 3 of 3 from the line. Hasn't missed. 17 points so far. As we said, 10 rebounds and 5 assists. So I think he's early front runner for player MVP, I think.
We're going to have to start thinking about the Sal's MVP. Coleman has put his hand up, no doubt about it. Mind you, Weeks is coming towards it as well now.
Well, they both have the same number of assists. They have certainly looked, and Coleman's probably had a bigger defensive job that he's had to do, slowing down the ball up the floor as well.
Britt is wide open, not willing to take that shot. Drops it in behind to Thames, back out to Britt. Penetration from Britt. He's trying to dish it off. He does so. Shepherd gets it, gives it to Talavai, who shoots it long and pledges there.
There's probably that was good play, sharing the ball. They got the ball wide open in the rim and just couldn't handle the pass. So silver lining in a 24-point game. That's probably not going to be the game, the play that decides the result of this game, but it's something that you can take some heart from, that you're moving the ball now, starting to look for each other, getting it from side to side and then in.
Penetration here from Britt, kick out to Washburn. They find Talavai in the corner, loads up a three, and it's good from Tony Talavai. Now that was nicely crafted, the way they kicked that out, and a steal here from Thames. Thames finds Shepherd, decides not to shoot the three, gives it to Talavai on the other side. Crossover from Talavai, goes around Vodonovic and gets the rim,
almost gets the roll,
off,
but he comes back. He's done a very, very good job of that, of following in after an offensive rebound. And just as the Sharks sort of think, I've got this clean now, Talavai comes in, knocks the ball away or forces a tough pass or something. So he'd definitely like to have made the layup, but put in that little bit of extra effort to get the ball back for his team.
So we got a timeout on the floor, 7 minutes and a tiny bit of change to go. 91 plays 70 here. Sal's NBL action at Cal Stadium. So a pretty even scoring here for the Sharks. Pledger with 14, Ruben Tarangi has 10, Jared Weeks 17, Orlando Coleman's up to 18 now, Connor Morgan 11, and Luke Aston has 9, James Hunter has 7, and then Vodonovic and Rakawa, 1 for Vodonovic and 4 for Rakawa, so everybody's on the scoreboard. Now the other end for the Rams, Shepherd's got 22, Thames 16, Washburn has 15 points now. Taylor Britt's managed 4, and then it drops away significantly.
Yeah, you kind of need Talavai's got 5 as well, but
Max Darling 5.
If you're going to just have 3 imports scoring, that's it. You probably need 30s from each of them, not high teens.
Just seems like the balance might not be quite right. I just think they just need one bigger guy, because Shepherd can play multiple positions.
Yep.
Shoot it from the top of the keyhole, and that one's not a good example.
Oh, he did hit the last one, so if he gets some more threes like that, he certainly will get looked at as a difference maker. And how do you can't guard him inside or outside. You have to almost find someone that same sort of body type, very long, pretty strong.
Rakawa managed to get around the screen, waited just long enough for Thames to hit him on the head. Didn't rush it at all, Jerome Rakawa. Took his time. Going to add to his score.
So if you put your money on the Sharks, you can probably feel pretty confident about collecting it. Whether you had the 5.5 or 6.5 point spread as well, I think 23 points, 6.5 minutes to go, you're probably pretty safe.
Washburn had the opportunity to throw that to Talavai or try to go over Pledger, and the result is a layup at the other end for Coleman.
Yeah, so he's above 20, well, on 20 points now.
So the lead, 25 and counting. Penetration here from Britt, kick out pass to Washburn. Moves it on to Thames. Thames drifting through the lane.
Rakawa not happy about that one, but Thames wasn't the happiest about the last foul he got called for. So, both of them, a little bit of gamesmanship there. I know how to draw a foul on you the next time I'm down.
Coleman hasn't really added to his rebounding stats. He's still at 10. Does have 5 assists now, though.
I think we can probably decide on the Sal's MVP about now, unless it's going to be a Rams player if they come back and force overtime. Well, they have to win here, I think. So I think the Sharks, with it, for them pretty much been garbage time now. I mean, they only have 9 players, so they don't have any high school players that they can put on really to give them a chance here. But
Rukawa all the way to the basket. It rimmed out, but Coleman with a rebound. He's saying, pick me, pick me. He's gone inside to Pledger, almost had another assist. Rukawa long range from Pledger.
You saw it wasn't just Pledger, it was Coleman as well pointing to him. So that's that sort of team thing, you know. I'm passing the ball into you, not necessarily for an assist, but for you to pass it to someone else to get an assist.
Britt to Washburn. Talavai, another offensive rebound. Thames finds Talavai in the corner, loads up a triple from there, and that goes good for Tony Talavai. He loves the corners.
Yeah, I know. There's a clip of him shooting at the Rams practice court on the shooting machine. I think he had 7 in a row from the corner. James, nice show and go there to the rim. And timeout here for Judd Flavel on the SIT zero fee Sharks. I don't think he's worried about losing it, but I think he is worried about his guys losing focus here.
Yeah, that's exactly what that timeout was all about. He's not going to have a momentum swing where he doesn't do something about it, and you're going to talk it over. They just got a little bit relaxed. I think the Sharks sitting on their nice handy lead, and the Rams start to make a nice little run. But they were more errors, really, weren't they? It wasn't really a case of good defense. It was just you know, unforced, really. Poor pass.
No, they certainly, I mean, Tolavai is probably the one guy on the Rams that snuck in for a few offensive rebounds or those steals after a rebound, so they certainly have to be careful and make sure they've got the ball after they complete the play. Yeah, Tolavai 4 offensive rebounds, Winston Shepherd the third, 3, the rest of the team have 4 total between them. Whereas Orlando Coleman 8 offensive rebounds. So he's got my vote, I think, Terry. So
he's got Springs. He also had the nicest dunk of the night.
Yes, yeah, I think so. So
he got points for style.
I think we'll put our request in and say that that's who we'd like to speak to again.
Morgan back in the game, and Ruben Tarangi. Cut from Rukawa. Morgan kept it. Little floater on the baseline. Nice touch from the big man. Shepherd looked a little shimmy shake. Thames moves it on to Washburn. Lines up a 3 from the corner, and that's good for Washburn.
So he's had 3 threes now, I think, this game.
Inside, Pledger finds Coleman, shoots a 3 of his own. This one doesn't go. Shepherd with the board. Britt penetrates. This time Pledger's not in the lane, so he gets all the way to the basket, and that is the skills of the young man, Taylor Britt. Slice and dice.
It's probably another one of the, you know, silver linings from this game. He's definitely showing he belongs out here. He's not just scoring himself, also able to set things up and have that movement for the team.
He's reading the defense. The last time he drove in there, Pledger was in, so he kicked it out. And this time he realised Pledger was up at the foul line, so he finished the play. A nice foul shot finish for the 3-point play from Taylor Britt.
So I think the other game, unfortunately it wasn't streamed, was the more exciting one for 2. It was a 3-point game. Teams here off the steal.
Rukawa tried to stay in front of him and did so, but Talavai tidies that up, another offensive board. Coleman coming at Washburn, through the lob pass, it comes back and Washburn knocked it out of bounds. Although Coleman...
And I don't think that ball was out of bounds when Coleman touched it. So that's what the call is there.
I think you're right. He was standing out of bounds when he caught it. 100 plays, 85. Thames finds Shepherd. Shepherd dancing on the perimeter, finds Thames. Back to Shepherd, loads up a 3. 3's good from Shepherd.
I think it's a 2 actually.
Foot on the line.
Yeah, I saw Gavin Zimmerman running down, holding a 2, the fingers across. So
Rukawa operating against Washburn. Looked inside. Washburn showing his football skills.
So the scoreboard in the stadium has that as a 3 though. We have it as a 3 on the graphics here. They're just going to check now. So if that does change, you know why.
You thought you saw, Gavin Zimmerman signal 2. And Matt Bathurst is indicating it is a 2.
So we should see the score change soon then.
Morgan dishes to Coleman. Coleman was going upstairs, and James got a hand in there. That was about to become the second nicest play of the game.
So the effort level certainly picked up here. You know, down 20 odd points, and they've cut it to 13 or 12 now. Yeah, so the live stats definitely have it as a 2. So the score at the moment should be 100 to 87 on our things. In the actual stadium it says 100 to 88, the same as what you can see now. We've got it fixed on our camera here. So the score that you can see at home is the correct score line. Those in the stadium though, you have a little bit of, you don't have it quite right.
Coleman gets that second one to go and shushes the crowd in the main grandstand at the baseline. Washburn, he's thought about throwing that lob. Only had to get it over Rukawa. Nice pass from Britt. Britt looking to penetrate again, goes around Hunter this time. So anytime Pledge is not there, Britt's having some fun going to the rack.
Yeah, and they've fixed the scoreline here now, so everyone has the correct scoreline now. 102 Sharks, 89 for the Wheeler Motor Company Rams. Hunter, nice rebound inside, but can't complete it. Thames is pushing it here. Turns Orlando in and out, and
Washburn this time a little flat with the 3.
Tolavai inside, tried to get another steal.
That's been one of the highlights for the Rams, actually, the fact that they're sort of jamming the ball on the outlet and slowing the breakdown. So they've done a good job of that.
And a good challenge here from Britt. Tarangi misses the 3, Shepherd gets it, and Coleman tried to get the foul. That was, I don't think, enough contact there. He didn't go through him. He sort of went to him and then popped. And Tolavai tries to get the steal, but that will be his night. So 11 points, some respectability here. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Marty Davison down there on that Coleman call just showed no interest whatsoever. Dare we say, it did look like he was close to the flop department.
Yes, yeah.
Ruben Tarangi.
I feel that though, it was natural justice here. You fall over, take yourself out of the play and give the guy a lap, you know, so I'm happy to have nothing called there.
Josh Aitchison back in the game for the Rams. He will replace Tony Talavai, who's run out of time. Good fight back here from the Rams. They didn't die. I mean, this could have blown out to 40. Hunter with a rebound, stolen by Britt. Aitchison comes up with it and manages to get it to Shepherd. Shepherd finds a gap, finds Britt. Penetration coming from Britt. Kicks it out, but Tarangi stole it. Bounce pass here for Coleman. Goes upstairs and shows the verticality of the man.
Is there any doubt he's our MVP too? I've already put the call in.
I think we're all good with that, James. I tell you what, you do not want to let him free in the open floor.
No.
He goes up and stays up there.
So Tolavai, before his night, he fell out, finished up with 10 points, 8 rebounds. It's not a bad effort for him there. You just need to cut down on those fouls. I think he managed 19 minutes of game time there, and I mean, Coach Mark Dickel was having to find spots to give him a rest, give Maxwell Darling a rest as well during the game with the fouls that they were on. And Taylor Britt too for that.
Well, you think about the development of players here. Obviously, Talavai's been around a little while now, so he's established himself in the league. But Darling, well, he learnt some things this evening, I think. Britt is starting to develop into, as I said earlier, the guy that could be running the ship here for quite a number of years. And we've seen that in his age group development.
Yeah. Well, he certainly looks capable out there, not awed by the moment or anything.
So Shepherd has Vodanovich on him. Screen came from Thames. Thames finds Washburn. Penetration from Washburn goes upstairs over to Rangi. Gets the 2. Washburn up to 19 points now.
It's a good defense there by Thames on Tarangi.
Rakawa. Washburn trying to defend that. He comes up with the rebound. Hunter missed it.
Aitchison just about travelled in.
And he couldn't find Britt, who was leaking out. Penetration from Thames. Nice finish. So a little comeback coming only a minute to go. They've cut it to 10. Tarangi with a fend off and a floater that didn't go. And the rebound comes down here to Aitchison. And there'll be a foul from Hunter.
Judd Flavel, I don't think he'll be happy with that. If you're going to take a shot early, you have got to make it when, time and score dictates. Just take the ball out. The Rams weren't looking to foul last possession, so you could have taken the whole 24 seconds off.
So Washburn pushing it quickly.
Yeah,
Sorry, that was Shepherd pushing
Washburn.
it. Washburn in the corner. Aitchison almost had the rebound, and it's gone off Vodanovich on the baseline. Another 3 here would make a game entertaining. Screen for Washburn in the corner.
So
they need to get something done quickly here, and they pop Thames, who penetrates, finds Aitchison, but that's way offline.
Yeah, that was short and left, not up. No chance really for that to go in. But you have to put that shot up. If it comes to you, you're down by 10 inside a minute.
Rakawa under a bit of pressure here. He managed to get it to Tarangi. Tarangi looking inside to Hunter. Hunter with the layup. That'll be all she wrote now. I think the Rams may play and take one more shot, but Thames, a little flat again from him. And a foul. Looks to be on Taylor Britt.
So De Geest coming in here. Last little bit of time, 15 seconds to go. As Britt Knight is done with 5 fouls.
Hunter left that one on the front of the rim. The second one is good. And James Hunter. So as this one comes to an end, Sharks will improve to 2-1. Thames putting all of the moves on, but he didn't wind up with any points. So the Sharks will improve to 2-1. The Rams will go to 1-1 on the table. And we'll get the player of the game over here as soon as we can. So James is working on that now.
Yeah, I've
Orlando
sent all my
Coleman.
messages. I have to get people to send the people over for interviews, and then also to our technical director Lars here to help him have enough time to get the graphics up and ready.
So scorers: Winston Shepherd for the Rams had 26 points. Xavier Thames had 23. Julian Washburn had 19. Tony Talavai chimed in with 10. Taylor Britt managed 9. And Max Darling 5. So pretty even scoring, really. The imports did most of the damage there. For the Sharks, 14 for Alex Pledger, Ruben Tarangi 11, Jared Weeks 17, Orlando Coleman, our MVP, ourselves MVP of this game, 24, Connor Morgan 13, Vodonovic still finished with 1 point, Rakawa got himself up to 9, Luke Aston 9, and James Hunter 10.
So we ended up with 6 double-figure scorers for the Sharks there,
which is what we somewhat predicted coming in. And we can see Orlando Coleman making his way over here, ourselves MVP. We'll just get James ready, present the hat.
All right, I'm here with the Sal's MVP from today, Orlando Coleman. Fantastic game from start to finish. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 8 of them on the offensive end, and then 5 assists. Like you guys, you were tremendous to watch. So you're our Sal's MVP of the game. How did you find this game here in this atmosphere?
I just had energy out there, man. The crowd really gave me energy. They was loud and everybody was fighting back and forth. Both teams was battling, and I love to compete. So it just gave me energy on both ends of the floor.
We were saying on the school bench that it wasn't really the sort of thing that the home crowd wanted to see. The Rams didn't seem like they were playing that much of a game until towards the end, and you had some nice highlight dunks there that certainly woke the crowd up a bit. May have helped the Rams a little bit for them, but certainly the crowd will go away happy with those sort of highlights. So I think it's a weekly thing for you.
Yeah, well, my teammates find me. Weeksy can really pass the ball, and they really find me on the lob, so I'm just thankful for my teammates, honestly.
Yep. So we've got a $300 check for you here. Whoops. For a charity. So I believe the charity, until you find some more way around New Zealand, I think it's going to the Christchurch City Mission as well.
Okay, sounds good, man.
So thank you. Congratulations to our Sal's MVP, Orlando Coleman, and best of luck with the season going forward. So thank you very much. I'll grab that now.
Thanks, James. So, yeah, we're just looking around to see if we can get Judd Flavel, the winning coach, over here to speak with James. Pretty easy win at the end of the day, 108-95 for the Southland Sharks. Just a thank you to all the sponsors, TAB, Sal's for the Sal's NBL, and if you're hungry now, which I am, time to go get a pizza. The Wheeler Motor Company, and SIT, who sponsor the Zero Fees Southland Sharks. Just waiting on the opportunity to see if we can get Judd Flavel. Yeah, so no sign of Judd Flavel just yet. Ruben Tarangi, you see on the screen there. Nice game Ruben put together. Player of the day was Orlando Coleman.
I feel like it's a really good thing that the Sal's NBL has, is, you know, giving them a chance to donate some money to a charity here. Unfortunately, with so many guys have flown in right before the start of the season, and it's been imports, I think, for our 2 games that we've done have both been in imports, and they just haven't had a chance to get up to date with all the charities here. It's probably not worth the effort to find a charity back home and send 300 New Zealand dollars and then all the red tape to go with that.
No, it was a very nice game Coleman put together. He was certainly challenging defensively. He was all up in the grill of Winston Shepherd, causing all kinds of havoc, and then those 2 enormous dunks he threw down, one off the alley-oop and the other one off the dish. Plus the mid-range game that went with it.
Yep. He just had nice defensive chops. He could pressure the whole way up the floor, and then, you know, so strong and compact, it's hard to get any sort of easy looks inside the paint over or against him.
See Connor Morgan's stat line here, 6 of 10. Alex Pledger, what you'd expect from Alex, 12 rebounds, 9 of them defensive, 5 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the line. Just another day at the office for Alex. Winston Shepherd carried on where he left off from last time. 8 of 16. 9 of 10 from the foul line, so he's not a guy you can foul.
No, he's not. 11 rebounds this time, so he had 11 last game. I think, oh no, his averages are 11, so he must have had a little bit more.
Got 9 this time. 3 assists. He's kind of doing everything for the Rams. Xavier Thames, 8 of 21 tonight. The problem for Xavier at the moment is the 1 of 7 from the three-point line. You know, when he gets to the foul line, he's doing pretty well, but and his mid-range game and getting to the hoop, but it's the three-point shot in this building that he hasn't quite worked out. He just needs. I'm going to spend some time with him on his arc. How about that? Next week, you can expect a slightly higher release. Julian Williams-Washburn, well, you know, last week we said he was a little bit quiet, but he put some stats together tonight. 7 rebounds, 5 of them defensive. Shot the 3 ball, which we didn't know he had in his arsenal. He had a couple that rimmed out as well. So nice game from the third import for the Rams.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we're not going to have an interview with Judd Flavel. He gave us quite a bit of time before the game. Obviously rushing to get out of here, so just like to thank the naming rights sponsors, Sal's Authentic New York Pizza, and obviously 18 of them around New Zealand if I remember right, a lot in Auckland, but there is one here in Christchurch, so hopefully the Southland Sharks get some. TAB, so use that, B-Ball 20 code.
So games coming up on Sunday, you've got the 2 cheap cars, Rangers up against the Saints, so tune in for that one. Thursday at 7 p.m, the 10th of May, we have the SIT Zero Fees Sharks up against the Go Media Jets. And Friday, the 11th of May, we have the Saints again versus the Hawks. That'll be a nice matchup. Those 2 teams are doing particularly well.
Yeah, those 2 coaches, obviously, Zico Coronel worked with Kevin Braswell last year, so they'll be very familiar with strengths and weaknesses that each of them have.
And then Saturday, the 12th of May, in Auckland, the 2 cheap cars, Rangers, will go up against the Go Media Jets, who great to have them back in the league. So here from Cal Stadium, 108 played 95. The SIT Zero Fees Southland Sharks won this one, took it out, improved their position on the table to 2-1. The Rams go to 1-1, and they only managed 95 points tonight, which was a pretty good output, but not enough when 108 is on the other end. So unfortunately, no coaches to chat to, so we will bid you good night from Cal Stadium.